And click. So, what's up, party people? It's Conversations with Cobi, where we talk about life, love, success, and technology. You know, you come here every week, and I appreciate all my viewers and for you to take your 30 minutes to watch me, whether you watch it later or right now. And it's really a beautiful thing for me. Today was a rough week. Today was the middle of a rough week, which is slowly getting better. But as I progress and move through this week, I'm motivated by my little successes. So I want you to think about those things that motivate you to continually to be successful step by step. And I don't have any joke. I'm not going to talk about my wife this week. I got fussed at the last time about talking about my wife, and I'm trying to stay in good graces. So I'll come back next week. I got bigger and better jokes about her. So today we're going to talk to a friend of mine. I've known her for 20 years. She has a beautiful spirit. I enjoy her. We're going to talk to her about her life successes and what she's doing now and what she sees for people. And it's my beautiful queen. Her name is Yolanda King. Everybody give her a little round of applause. You know what I mean? What's up, Yolanda?
How are you doing, man? How's everything going?
Oh, it's beautiful. Everything is beautiful. And
I
you?
see, brother. I see. I mean, congrats on your show. I think it's an awesome movement, man. I think it's pretty cool. And thank you for just letting me be a part of it.
Well, thank you. But what we talk about is about
Uh-huh.
life success. And as I follow you and been watching you grow, not only your successes, but you're trying to inspire, or I shouldn't say trying, but inspiring other people to challenge theirs, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And that's what I want people to do, Kobe, honestly. And I think that's just who I am. I want people to always see the best within themselves and to recognize that life has levels and we don't always have to settle for mediocrity and we can push ourselves and figure out where we need to go. So that's just my movement, man. I love it. I'm very passionate about it. And I'm just happy that you could actually feel it and see the energy because it's contagious. I'm happy that it kind of caught the wave down your street and you see.
It definitely. So before we really dig deep into what you
Okay.
do, right? I want to know, how did you get to that point? Like
It's
how?
weird, man. It's so weird. Like you've known me for 20 years, and I think it's very important for people to see where you came from to
Mm-hmm,
appreciate where you are now and the growth and the maturity.
mm-hmm,
I think I've always been motivating in some capacity. I don't think I
mm-hmm,
was able to truly hone into that skill in a more positive way, like I
mm-hmm,
have now. But I've always tried to push people and try to get people to be their best versions of themselves.
mm-hmm,
So I think it just took a moment with God and I to kind of figure out how to get that on a positive path. And I created Lifelink Consultants, and I think it's been a struggle to kind of get myself to the level of maturity that I think where I'm purposed to help people design their lives, and that's a very big thing, Kobe, because it's bigger than you, and you have to always see something in people that they just cannot see themselves, and how to redefine and recreate what success looks like. That's why a lot of people call it life coaching. I'm not a person that tends to call it life coaching. I really feel like I'm a prophetic movement, and it's really that. And what I'm doing is helping people uncover their path and their purpose. And honestly, we're just putting a plan in place and hoping to get you to activate it and to truthfully live in what your truth is and what you define yourself as, and stop allowing the external things to define who you are. So it's very rewarding, and you have to uncover pain and things that's just blocking people from aligning to where they need to be. But I tell you, once we activate the plan and people kind of make the moves that they need to make and we sift through all the mess, I promise you it's so rewarding to see their success and their happiness and their fulfillment, you know?
wow. That
Mhm.
that that you said a lot. That was profound.
Thank you.
In what you said. So I know Yolanda before she was this movement.
Right.
So what what was that moment, that made you, or describe that moment that made you realize what you needed to do for your success?
I can't put it in one thing, Kobe. I'm being very honest with you. I started to get frustrated, and I started to get frustrated, being very honest with you, with corporate America. And I
Mm-hmm.
started to get really frustrated in them wanting me to conform to what they felt like I should be, and I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was always in an extra small shirt. And, I'm a pretty big woman. I need an extra large shirt, So I wanted to get out of that, man. And I just felt like I needed to figure out who I was and why I was so frustrated, because most people don't understand that when you're triggered or you have some pain or uncomfortability, those are moments to define what you're feeling. And once you address that thing, that's also helping you align things and get things on your path. So most
Mm-hmm.
times when you're frustrated, people get mad and they kind of get depressed. And I'm very, I don't want to say, I don't want to discredit how people feel, but I really want them to understand that those are the moments where you grow, when you're uncomfortable, and it lends itself to, if you just sit down and focus, Kobe, and just try to get with God and pray, which is truly how I broke out of being stuck. Once you do that, you'll start to figure out what you need to do. Now, it takes effort. I mean, once you get
Mm-hmm.
these ideas and these plans, you still need money. You still need a vision. You still need a plan, so that you can activate these things. And from that, I birthed Lifelink Consultants, and I have a lot of clients that come to me, and we work and we try to put things together and map out their lives so that they can feel the same success and happiness that I know I've been blessed with. And it's pretty
Oh,
rewarding, and it's cool, man. It's really
I,
cool.
it sounds like it because you can hear like your passion.
Absolutely. I'm being
Your
serious
smile
about
is infectious. So whenever you start laughing, I'm probably gonna bust out laughing too. Um, from back in the day, right? Um,
it. Absolutely.
so you've said one word that I want to stick to for a minute, and I want you to
Absolutely.
define it for me. I want you to define success. What
Mm.
is that, and how does that play? Because you said success several times, and that's a very nebulous concept.
Absolutely. So what I will say about success, I think, let me talk about what I think we think it is, and how
Mm-hmm.
we are misaligned, and we need to rethink about this, rethink about this. I think success, people now define success as some desired vision or some fulfillment of goals. And what I want people to understand is that driven people, once they achieve something, Kobe, most times they're looking for their next fix. They're drumming
Mm-hmm.
up their new plan. And we start to live these lives as if we're chasing something. And what we have to do is understand that success is more internal than it is external. And
Yeah.
I think when we're chasing the bag, everybody's chasing this bag, it's blinding us to our internal wealth. You were born with everything you need in this life to be successful. What you
Mm-hmm.
have to do is tap into yourself and figure out what those gifts and talents are. Like I told you, I've been a motivator my entire life. I've been coaching my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I have the personality, and I have the drive and the energy that's infectious. The problem becomes, how am I using that?
Mm-hmm.
Am I using that to kind of hang out in the club and party? Not to take away from that. I don't want to discredit anybody's vices or what they love, because I love some of that stuff too. But I just don't
Mm-hmm.
think that we only should be in those moments and not tap into what we can give back to others and how we can fulfill some things that are in ourselves. I promise you, people, just in my opinion, they aren't making their souls glow. And that's a very, just make yourself. But if you don't address that soul within and how to be happy, Kobe, I promise you, you will always feel as though you have to chase the next thing and find the next thing. My happiness comes now, and what I define success as happiness and contentment. I am now content because I know what my purpose is. So now I don't have this broad, wide scope. I'm kind of funneling in, and I'm tapping into what my magic is. And that brings me so much joy and happiness that is just undescribable. And now I'm so happy that I found it, that I can tap into it for other people and help them get this same feeling that I have. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the cool part.
Yo, that was a mouthful.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say too much, brother.
That's what you on here for. I'm gonna keep it real. That's what you on here for. Like I love you. We laughed and joked 100 times, and I can
Absolutely.
comment on your um inspirational moments, your coaching, your leadership at times,
Mhm.
um, in very strenuous and stressful settings. but I was able to watch that, and it's great to see how you transition that from one place to another, and you found something. Like there was days when we could sit back and we could have this kind of conversation,
Hmm.
this conversation.
I agree with you. I know exactly what you're saying. I agree with
You
you.
know, I remember a time, and I don't want to become too Joe on the show, but we were sitting on the bleachers at a step show
Uh-huh.
complaining about
Yes.
what we needed to do to make it better, to make
Yeah.
things better,
This is
and
my
to
point.
figure it out.
This is my point. You knew me and I was this person before. I just
Yeah.
didn't know how to channel it to the and get in, and it came with me getting mature, Kobe. I was a very immature woman,
Mm,
and I've grown to kind of figure out and be comfortable with who I am. And I
mhm,
feel like honestly it's because I was looking for the external success. I was looking for it to be money. I was looking for it to be friends. I was looking for it to be whatever that external thing was that was this feel good. And until I filtered all of that mess out and recognized that it's all internal,
mhm,
you won't mature or grow. And I think one day we'll realize that happiness was is never about a job or a degree or being in a relationship. Happiness is never about following these footsteps that we feel we need to follow, that our parents have put us in, or those who came before you. And it's never about being like other people. Honestly, it's not. I think one day you're going to see that happiness is always about discovery, man. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's just self discovery. And
wow.
once you mature and you realize that, the hope that comes with that, listening to your heart and following it wherever you go, there's
Mm,
no one that can take that away from you. No one. It's always about being yourself. It's always about that. And I really honestly think until you figure that out, you're gonna always struggle and suffer. I promise you. I mean, even at Temple, I thought I knew who I was. You knew me probably more than I knew myself. You could figure out that I was doing all of these great things. And like you said, we were talking about how to make it better. And we had a step show
yeah.
and we're complaining. And mind you, we were winning.
Yeah.
Look, we were a great step team, Kobe. We
Yeah.
were like that. I'm not making this up, but I'm still thinking of another way, drumming up another way to make things better. And
Yeah.
one day you'll understand that happiness and learning how to live in your own skin and be yourself is never at the cost or at the hands of others. It's always been about you.
Yeah.
It's always been you figuring you out, getting to your land, your purpose, and whatever your end result is.
Yo,
And that's just what it is.
it's interesting because when you talk about like learning yourself, it also
Uh-huh.
happens in stages. Because like I don't want to get into it too much, and I don't talk to people a lot about it. But you know
Mhm.
how people looked at us as a step team, and then
Mhm.
how individually the attention that was on us in our own little small subculture, and
Absolutely.
I enjoyed that,
Yeah, me too.
and it was addictive, right? So
Absolutely.
I literally went through a phase where when it wasn't there, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get it.
Yes,
How I'm gonna get it.
absolutely.
And it sent down this crazy spiral of trying to figure out these things, thinking that's what made you happy. But what really made me happy was performing and seeing people smile. And when I
Yes,
figured that kind of thing out and was able to tap into that, it then not the last thing that helped me really kind of round out me was watching my wife operate.
that's cool. That's a whole nother
She
level.
she like I never met a person that
Hmm.
and like this is nothing against any other my other relationships because I have very positive relationships with exes, but I've never met a woman that kind of matched me and my
Uh-huh.
swagger,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like your yin to your yang. So I watch her, right, and I'm able to embrace what she does and take that in and
Hmm.
appreciate it. And
Hmm.
once I was able to see that in a completely different way, and I
Hmm.
saw myself in a sense,
Hmm.
it really helped me. Like it's kind of corny, but it kind of validated my thoughts,
I'm
but
with you.
also who I was and what I wanted from life. And she
Yes.
matched that. And so what I guess I say that to say is sometimes people are so busy looking for other things like you were talking about to make them happy. They're not able to see certain things or people placed in their life to demonstrate what to do and what not to do. you know.
Exactly. And but see, this is the thing, you stumbled on that. It's not like I don't know, but what I hear from you, I don't feel like you sought it out. It kind of just happened. You stumbled.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I feel like we start to drum up these plans, Coby, where we're trying to put these pieces together. And what I've recognized is that once you tap in, things move out of your way. It's a little bit different. And then you just start to land on and it just comes to you naturally and organically. It's not like
Hmm.
you're strategically mapping this thing out. That's why before you go, I always say, Coby, I mean, it's very stupid, but I mean, this is my thing. God is my CEO. I'm just a chief operating officer.
Hmm.
It's his plan and vision for my life. What I'm doing is executing and operating.
Hmm.
Most people don't think that way. People feel like they're the CEOs of their own life. That is a lie. It's a misconception. Because what
Hmm.
starts to happen is you get this vision from things that you see in front of you, so you start to covet things. And I promise you, the more you covet, that is the killer of happiness. It's okay to be inspired and motivated by others, or, allow them to tap into some things that you might say, oh, I like this, oh, I like that. But you can't mimic their lives. You can't. And you can't cover it up saying that it's driven. What you seek is internal. Once you get that, you will attract everything that your heart desires. That's a different way of approaching life. So that's why honestly, even before I made Lifelink Consultants a business, I actually looked up to God and asked him to direct me. And that's a fact. And if it's supposed to happen, then you make it happen for me. And I'm telling you, it was almost effortless. It's like it happened overnight, literally. I feel like I was printing t-shirts the next day. It was so odd, Coby. And that's just what it is. And that's just the thing. You
But you had
gotta
laid a foundation too, though. He had,
absolutely.
and people forget that. I hear what you're saying, but there's
Uh-huh.
a whole bunch of little steps you took
Yeah,
before you got there. There's a whole bunch of work ethic,
I agree.
you know.
I
God,
agree.
because sometimes when people say that, or like I'm very spiritual, and I
Mm-hmm.
try not to get too religious or take the religiosity of all of those things. But I
Mm-hmm.
do understand, like, regardless of what religion or place you put yourself in,
Mm-hmm.
those scriptures have guidelines, right? Those scriptures
Absolutely.
are guidelines. And when you don't place yourself in the work, or you don't do the work, while you're asking for guidance or for patience or
Mm-hmm.
for all these things, right? People ask for stuff. Like,
Yes.
drop me a microphone or
Yeah.
drop me a woman, not
Yeah.
the patience or the discernment to pick
Correct.
the right woman, right?
Correct.
'Cause,
Correct.
you can ask for some of them women. He might drop a whole bunch off, but they may not be the right ones, you know?
Well, Coby, you know that. I mean, to be honest, look, man.
Oh. So, like I was saying.
But no,
Oh,
you're right. People pray for the wrong thing. They want the finish line.
yeah.
They don't want the ingredient to create the mix. Like you got to create your own flavors, man. You got to have your own ingredient list, and you're asking for the wrong thing if you just want him to give you the thing. Because
Mm.
honestly, I hate to say it. I hate when people who were older than me would say this stuff, and I'm looking at them like, man, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They knew everything they was talking about, man. It got me crazy. But I'm telling you, the blessings are in the lessons. And I hate to sound like that person. But honestly, all that stuff you go through, it's just preparing you for the next step. And you're going
Mhm.
to stay there until you get the lesson. It's not about the thing you achieve. Because I'm telling you, me being a driven person, I'm just trying to find my next high. I really
Mm.
am.
Mhm.
Like the consultants is here. I have a successful business. I'm not in the hole. I make money every year. I'm happy with it. Now I'm like,
Mhm.
what's next?
Mhm.
I'm looking at people who have been blessed, and I say blessed because they could have went somewhere else to help tap into what their great thing is. And now
Mhm.
I'm looking like, what's next? And I'm not trying to put myself in it because what happened, removing myself has been the most successful business plan I've ever had, Coby, because before when I put myself in it, I was always thinking that somebody was hooking me up. This is not about a hookup. This is about a purpose walk. I promise you. And
Mm-hmm.
so now that I'm not looking for hookups, things just land in my lap. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm just expressing or displaying the maturity that I have accumulated over this journey so that I can show that I am ready to reap the benefits of that reward. And that's the biggest thing. You can't get things before you're supposed to get them. And that's why it's so important that you capture all of these lessons so you're not too high or too low once something's granted to you. It's like you're stepping into the moment and walking with purpose, literally, you know?
And it's two phrases that people always say:
Mm-hmm.
respect the process
Mm-hmm.
or enjoy the process, right?
Ah, okay.
Because it's getting the steps you take to get to the finish line
Mm-hmm.
are the things that teach you how to handle it when you get there.
Bottom line. And
You
that's
know.
it. That's why I'm very, and not to get off path, but I'm very conscious of how critical I am of successful people. You know,
Mhm.
when I was just a spectator, I would be very, I don't like this. I don't like, they get on my nerves. And I'll give you an example. LeBron James was one of them. I couldn't stand him, man. I promise you.
Did
Oh
you?
my gosh, I can't stand him. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan, and I don't want to,
Oh, that's
yeah,
why.
oh man, yeah, but hey, that's why. But even with that, I don't know if I was in his shoes and I had to balance and deal with all of that stuff he has to deal with, I really honestly know for a fact I would be less critical of him, which is
Mhm.
why now I try to shut my mouth and just allow people to enjoy their moment and their success and just pray that they make the right decisions for the people that they're impacting. You know, it's a different visual. I'm telling you, before as a fan, I don't like this. That is a very immature way to approach it. And what you're not doing is recognizing how hard it is to be successful. It is
Yeah,
hard to be successful, Kobe.
and I think
It's
a lot of
hard.
people forget that too,
They
and to
do.
stay on top, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and I can say from our mild little run of success, it was a lot of work, it was a lot of stress, it
Tell
was a
me
lot
about it.
of foolishness,
Yes. Distraction.
internally and externally,
Yes. You're right.
that you had to deal with, and to carry that with grace is
Yes.
extremely hard.
Well,
You
yeah,
know.
and be willing to put it all on the line. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but you would know how hard we had to put ourselves on the line, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just to get where we were, gain respect, do all of
Yeah.
these things, you know, and everybody would look at it like, yeah, that's a small thing. You just step in. And so, no, it was a big deal at that time because that
Yeah.
was our moment and that was the moment, you know, and it came with a lot of popularity and it came with
Yeah.
a lot of people just watching your every move and how you carry yourself, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you pick wrong and you make a wrong decision, everyone has something to say. And that
Yeah.
comes with a lot, Kobe. It did. And you know that too. It came with a lot, you know? But at the end of the day, it worked itself out. And we both matured from those moments. And we know the ingredients that it takes to be successful and wise. And that's why we're now here on this platform discussing that to this day. You know,
Yeah.
we've been through a lot. We've always wanted to do it. But what I think this misconception that a lot of people have, and what I want to make sure that I make clear, is that this idea of having it all, I think that's just too much. And it puts too much pressure on us to figure out these external successes.
I, I
You know,
I agree, but in all is so relative.
it is
Like
very relative, man.
I had my great grandmother. She bought her house that she lived in, and she raised four generations of kids. I was her last grandchild to live in that house.
Wow.
Um, my cousin fusses at me because I like to say that as a brag, and I probably need to be more considerate. But she, we didn't know what to give her. It wasn't a big house.
Mhm,
She never drove a car,
mhm.
right? But she
Wow.
had everything. She raised her kids. Whatever her family did after they left her house, that was on them. But she made
Wow.
sure that they were equipped when they left that house.
There you go.
And we would sit back and what do I get Mama Liv? What do I get her? Because
Mhm.
she had everything,
Had it all.
and that's what I'm starting. I'm being honest. That's the parts that I'm starting to understand the break. And when you feel like I have my kids, I have
Mhm,
my wife, I
mhm,
have a career that I'm starting and then budgeting on a new business.
mhm.
And so I really don't need anything.
Nope.
Anything extra is
Nope.
extra. The
Nope.
only thing I want to do is continue to tell stories and to talk to dope people, right?
There you go.
And that's it.
See, what I think you are defining, in my opinion, is just contentment. And I think that that comes with a level of maturity that a lot of people, they don't get there, Cobi. And and it's this idea when people, in my opinion, when they say they want to have it all, it's all of
Mm-hmm.
these external models that they're allowing to mentor them. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you, for instance, let me just, this is a horrible example, but I'll go with it. Kamala Harris, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's freaking vice president, but she doesn't have it all. So if you think of what defines a woman, right? In my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, the first thing most people think are husbands and kids. She don't have her own kids. So by default, does she have it all? But I don't think she does, but she has what she's desired. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what we have to understand, what we allow to define us as being successful and having it all. I really feel like it's internal contentment. It's about what your thing is, what you want to do. A lot of most successful CEOs and all of these Fortune 500 companies, they have a physical family, they have kids, a husband, but they don't get to spend the time and get the wealth of having and the benefits of having those relationships with those individuals. So I think this idea of having it all is a facade. And what I think people have to do is they have to figure out what their thing is. If you want external wealth and you want a business that's a Fortune 500 company, then work your butt off and do that. That's your all. If you want a family and you want to raise this wonderful family and have kids, and you put your all into that, because what people fail to realize is that you can't multitask purpose. You can't multitask life. What you have to do is you have to surrender yourself and give your all to what fulfills you, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's family, then you need to give them your undivided attention and instruction. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that needs to be at the forefront of how you govern your life. So in my opinion, or something's going to always be missing. You'll technically have it all on paper, but nothing is getting you, and you're not pouring yourself into the thing. So you're always given a percentage of what you should give your all.
That's profound, and it's interesting when you say that because I watch me running around like a nut, and my
Uh-huh.
wife calmly walking through life, right?
Yep.
Because for her, I believe I watch her. She's dedicated to the family. She's dedicated to her family, not
Yep.
just our immediate family, but the external family.
Hmm.
And she has those things. And so
Yep.
she operates in such a place of peace where I'm a
Yep.
fool trying to do a million things. And I'm like,
Oh,
I ain't done that. I got to get that. Oh, shucks, I ain't do this yet. And
yeah.
like, so I had the worst week and it was at my job. And
Yep.
I blew it.
Hmm.
So I got laid out by the
Hmm.
boss, right?
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
I can say was, I apologize. It'll never
Yep.
happen again.
Can't
And,
say never either, though. You can't
huh?
say never. But I understand that. But keep going. If
Yeah.
you don't want it to happen again, May.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I meant my effort. I'll
I'm
try to
with
make sure my effort doesn't ever hit that spot again. And
I'm with
so
you.
when what you said to me, I probably needed to hear that because the day I wasn't feeling like the show, I
Hmm.
was having a rough time. And
Somebody gonna talk to me, Kobe?
no,
Come on, man.
you the
You
reason I came on,
want-
but what you had to say was even more important and
That's
so
cool.
appreciative. And I appreciate it. We got like a minute and a half left, so I got something new I'm trying out.
Let's
So
do
I'm
it.
gonna ask you. Number one, I'm gonna ask you three things. You know why I'm gonna do them three things? Three for the
Exactly.
founders.
I'm with you. Go
But
for it,
so number one, if
okay.
you had one piece of technology, what would it be?
Whoa, my cell phone.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm real simple. I listen. I put my note. Everything that comes to my mind, I put my phone. It drives my family crazy. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I feel like that's all I need. I feel like I can get all my research, everything done on that. Take my notes. I'm constantly taking notes, things that come to mind. So that's it. I mean, unless the internet is another one, because I do need that. I mean, I don't know if I'm cheating. I don't want
Nah,
cheat.
nah, nah. Your phone is good. So now here's my next question. That was a great segue.
So,
One app, your favorite app besides the phone. You can't say phone or text message.
every day I hit the Bible app. I don't mean to
Okay.
say, oh, I'm not holier than thou. You know I have a past. We don't got to go. Every morning when I wake up, man, I gotta hit the Bible app and get close to my God, man. Connect. That's my thing.
I hear that. And if you could say one thing to one person and keep it to two sentences
Wow.
or less, what would that be?
my grandmother, hands down. She's no longer here. How much I miss and love and appreciate the time and the love, and her just tapping into me, just teaching me love. I'm getting choked up, but I'll tell you, that's the one person that I would want to say something to, and I would definitely thank her for showing me how to love,
Wow.
and that's it right there, hands down.
That's- Well, look, Yolanda, I appreciate you.
Kobe,
Your
man,
words were profound, and believe me, they touched me.
wow,
Um,
thank you.
um, and you'll be back. You're definitely a friend to the show. We're gonna
I love
work
it.
this out
All right,
and keep it going. And I appreciate you. For everybody else, check out the scroll, Lifelink Consultants,
yes,
Yolanda the King on
got it.
Instagram, and Yolanda the King on Facebook.
Yes,
Check
sir.
her out, connect with her, and remember, smash that like button, subscribe, keep in touch. Conversations with Cobi. Much love, everybody. Much love.